Hello everybody, my name is Chris, you're watching Park Pass, and boy howdy, Disney is really having a problem here with the Snow White movie. I'm going to break it down from top to bottom on what's going on. You guys brought this to my attention, and after you brought it to my attention, I did a whole deep dive into figure out what is going on, and there is a lot to hit the subscribe button. It's something you do for free. All right, let's get into this. So, a little while ago, about a week ago, I was doing a video updating everybody about the quarter's earnings call that Bob Iger had. And in it, I talked about how Disney was projecting about the different movies that are having coming out. And I said, oh my gosh, look, they didn't talk about Snow White. Well, you can watch this clip right here. And this is really interesting because what doesn't he mention? As I read this, I want you to think, what doesn't Bob Iger mention here? Looking to 2025, we have an extremely promising content slate, including Captain America, Brave New World, Lilo and Stitch, The Fantastic Four, First Steps, Zootopia 2, and Avatar, Fire and Ash. Did you notice anything in there he didn't mention for 2025? Snow White. He did not mention that, which I think is a telltale sign that they don't have a lot of faith in it because they did not mention it on this earnings call. So I did that thing. I was just kind of a throwaway line to think how that was interesting. Well, in the comments of that video, Snow White, there is a lot of feelings about this movie, this project that's coming out. And I mean, people were saying that they hope that Disney does with Snow White, that what Warner Brothers did with the Batman movie, they just shelf it and say it's a loss, it's a tax write-off, we're not going to even air it. People are, I was like, people are so adamant, they don't even want it to be released. It's crazy to me. So I'm going to go back through the whole history of what's happened with Snow White. Why is it getting this a lot of negative attention? And then I want to hear what you guys are your thoughts are down below, because this is a hot topic. Now keep in mind, I mentioned that about a week ago, how Bob Iger never even mentioned Snow White in his earnings call. And then like 3 days later, Disney did something huge that brought this back to the forefront, which I'll get to in just a moment. All right, let's rewind it up. So Disney announced several years ago they're going to be doing a live action remake of Snow White. Now, this is something that Disney's done before in the past. They take an animated film, they make it a live action, they just kind of go back to the same thing and make some money for it. For example, Beauty and the Beast, it cost $200 million and it made $1.2 billion. So I mean, Disney's like, oh, we like this. When they announced that they're going to be doing Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and I just want to say for this video, when I talk about the movie, the title of the movie, I'm going to call it Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. But when I'm talking about the individual people who play that, I'm going to be remaking Snow White. A lot of people are like, whoa, really? Wow, we're going to be remaking Snow White? That's kind of crazy. How are they going to be doing that? And Peter Dinklage, who's a little person, and he kind of talked about how he didn't really think that was a good idea and that he thought that was bad, that they're going to be having the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And so, and I think Disney really took that to heart. They're like, holy cow. And then what happened was a photo ended up getting released. A photo got released of Snow White and it says they're like magical creatures and whatever. And this photo got released and people are like, wait, what is this? I'll try to show you that photo here. And people were like, is this really the true thing? This can't be it. And then Disney came out and they denied it. They said, that's not true. That's not true. Then they later on came out and kind of admitted, okay, yes, it is true, but they said, but we haven't added the CGI yet to make the characters look better. It's going to look so much better. And then after that, there were a lot of actors who are little people. They're like, we're actors, and we have limited roles that we can do sometimes. And these are great roles that are coming out. We could work for Disney, and now Disney's not going to be using little people because of what Peter Dinklage says, or we don't find that very fair, and we don't like that. So really, Disney, what they ended up doing is they kind of just sidestepped the whole issue and they're just using CGI. They're not using actors at all. They're just using CGI. So that's kind of an interesting thing. Now, I want you to be aware, though. So this is the beginning of the problems. Snow White was being filmed in July of 2022. Almost 2.5 years ago is when they finished filming Snow White. Her name was Rachel Zegler, and they cast her as Snow White. I think at first, when she first got cast, I think a lot of people were kind of excited about that. They saw some possibilities, but she kind of done some missteps, which has really put Disney in some hot water, and I'll get to those in just a moment. Now, Disney went back and did some reshoots in June of 2024. Now, and a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, it must be terrible because they're doing a reshoots. No, that's not necessarily true. Because when Disney, any movie studio, they do reshoots. And that's part of the game. When you're doing a film, you're going to be doing reshoots. But then it came out that the original budget for the Snow White that was filmed in July of 2022 was $200 million. And most studios, they kind of hide those numbers from us, but this was filmed in England where you can look up the numbers. And it's about $200 million for the project that was finished in July of 2022. Then they went back and they did some pickups and reshoots, cost of $69.4 million, basically $70 million. That tells me that a large amount of money, those aren't reshoots. That's reworking the script, trying to work things out that aren't working. They're rehauling the film, trying to salvage what they can to make good film. And what ended up happening is Snow White has failed not one, not two, not three, not four, but five test audience. So they had 5 test audiences where they walked in and sat down, watched them, and got their critiques. And all 5 times it bombed. People, they disliked the film. They did not like the film, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is terrible." And so that's why I think Disney keeps doing these reshoots, trying to tinker with the formula of Snow White to make it work. Now, that being said, that's just the production side. That's all we've been talking about. But now we got to talk about Rachel Zegler, the actress who's playing Snow White, because she's kind of said some things that people kind of felt like rubbed them the wrong way. And before I get to what she said, you have to understand the history of the movie Snow White. Snow White came out in 1937, and it was Walt Disney's masterpiece. People called it Walt's Folly. They said that nobody would want to see a full-length feature animated film. And he put everything he had into it. And if that film had bombed, Disney never would have happened. It didn't bomb. It was a massive success. And if you ever go to Walt Disney Studios, if you ever have a chance to go on that studio lot, the main administration building, you've got the 7 dwarfs at the top, and they're holding the roof up because they're the ones that are basically held up the house of Disney. All right. So Snow White, very beloved classic of Disney. In 2022, when they were interviewing Rachel Zegler about it, this is what she had to say. She says, "It's extremely dated when it comes to the idea in the world." She then went on to say this: "Snow White is not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming a leader. She knows she can be a leader, and that's what she's trying to do, is become a leader." And so she was talking about this, and people were like, wait, what? She's trying to become a leader. People are like, okay, that's a little weird. But what they didn't like is how she was saying that it was an extremely dated film. Okay. Then she did another interview a little bit later on. In this interview here, she talked about how when she watched Snow White as a child, she thought it was creepy and scary, and she only watched it one time and she didn't like it. She then went on to say there's a big focus on the love story with a guy who literally stalks her. It's weird. And she was calling the Prince Charming a stalker, and she was saying that she thinks it's weird. Then after that interview, people came out and people were like, "Why did you accept the role of Snow?" So that kind of rubbed some people the wrong way. And then she went on another interview, and then in this interview, she said this. Her co-star, the guy who's portrayed, his name is Andrew, and she was saying this. She goes, "Sure, a lot of people assume it's a love story just because we cast a guy in the movie, but all of Andrew's scenes could get cut, and it wouldn't affect the film." And so she was literally saying, like, his role is pretty irrelevant. So then people are like, what is this movie really truly going to be about? It's $200 million, and then they added another 70 million reshoots. So that's $270 million. That's production costs, okay? They haven't done their marketing and their promotion. And in Hollywood, it's generally a 2 times multiplier or a 2.5 times multiplier if it is like what they call a tentpole film. A tentpole film is like a large release that they're trying to get a lot of people to see. And Snow White is obviously a tentpole film. They're trying to bring in as many people as they can to see it. So I think it's safe to say it's going to be a 2.5 multiplier. If that's the case, the cost of the film, the production cost, the marketing, getting all the publicity out there is $675 million. That's how much they're going to have to make to break even. That is massive. That is huge. That is like, we're talking, this movie has to outperform almost all these other movies, and it's got a lot of negative attention to it already. Here's what happened is 3 months ago, Disney released the trailer for Snow White, like a teaser trailer on Snow White on YouTube, right? On their Disney channel, their Disney YouTube channel. They released it. When it came out, it became one of the most disliked videos in YouTube. People are like, what are we looking at? This has nothing to do with Snow White. It's like you just slapped the name Snow White on it, and the story's not even Snow White. And there's a lot of people just didn't like the comments, right? the content, and they're making their comments known. So 3 months ago, that happened. Then the earnings call happened with Bob Iger. He didn't even mention Snow White. Then 3 days after the earnings call, what happened? Universal Studios releases Wicked in theaters, and Wicked is going to be a huge hit. I haven't seen it yet. I'm looking forward to. I'm going to try to go see it this over the Thanksgiving holiday with my wife. I'm looking forward to seeing it. But what Disney did was very sneakily is they put their trailer for Snow White in front of Wicked. And some people are calling this a hidden trailer because Disney has opted to not put this trailer where? On YouTube. They didn't put it on YouTube. It's not on YouTube. Now, people have gone into the theaters to watch Wicked, and they have videotaped it, and those people have uploaded the trailer, largest search engine in the world behind Google, and all of a sudden it's one of the biggest marketing tools that they can have. And they're not even putting the trailer on YouTube. I think they don't want to do that because they're worried about the backlash. They're worried about the comments. They're trying to sidestep it, to promote it, but they're trying to do it sneakily. Now, here's what happened. Disney's worst nightmare happened, right? They put this hidden trailer out there, and then his name is Jim Scholl. Jim Scholl is a retired Imagineer for Disney, and he had worked for Disney for 33 years. And when he saw this trailer for Disney, for Snow White, he basically said it's unwatchable. He says, the trailer for Snow White is unwatchable. He then talks about Pinocchio was directly released to Disney Plus, and that film starred Tom Hanks. What Jim was trying to say there is Tom Hanks is a proven actor with billion-dollar franchises. And when Disney got so much heat about Pinocchio, the film, maybe you might not even know this, Tom Hanks made a film, Pinocchio, but it didn't test very well, and they ended up just releasing it directly to Disney Plus because they didn't want to go through embarrassment of having a flop on the big screen. And so Jim Scholl is saying, hey, you got Tom Hanks, a massive, huge actor, and now you've got Snow White you don't have these really giant proven actors. Rachel Zegler, her films haven't been big box office hits. Go straight to Disney Plus. That's what Disney should probably do. I don't think Disney's going to do that. I think Disney is they're so far in the hole in this particular film that they have to try to recoup some of their costs, and they're hoping for some type of miracle, like a Hail Mary here coming in. But the thing is it gets even more complicated. So here's what happened. When the first criticism started coming out about Snow White, this is in 2023, and people are hearing about this. There's a lot of criticism. Rachel Zegler went to Twitter, now called X, and she tweeted this. And this is what and I think it's a good tweet. She says, I hope the world becomes kinder. I love you very much forever and ever. Remember to be kind. Treat each other with patience and empathy. Remember that you are loved unconditionally. No matter your mistakes, no matter your misunderstandings, you deserve it. You deserve love. You deserve to live without your love and all that. Then what happened is they had the presidential election. The presidential election, and this particular channel, I don't talk about politics very much. But Trump won. He's now the president-elect. After Trump won the election, Rachel went out and she tweeted this. Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace. I don't want you to ever have any peace or rest. And then so they're looking at her old tweet, which is saying, hey, the world's kindness and I love you all. You deserve to live in a world without fear. And people are like, you're disingenuous, Rachel. You're saying, Rachel, don't do this. Here's my take on that. I don't wish ill of anybody, and I don't think you should either. And I don't think, it's just bad that she had a conversation with some of the Disney executives, and I think it was probably a harder conversation, and they probably told her, you've got people. And you need to go out and apologize. And so she did come out and she apologized. Let me do this again. Here we go. I let my emotions get the best of me, and moving forward, I'm going to be a better person. And so that was her apology. They have this $675 million project, including we're talking marketing and whatever of that. If you take away the marketing, we're just talking still $270 million rifts between the two main leads, Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler, and so it's causing a lot of problems. And I think Disney is and what's surprising to me, Paul, and I just happened to mention Snow White and didn't really think that much about it. All of a sudden, people come in the comments like, don't release Snow White. Snow White's going to be terrible. How can Disney do this? Disney's doing this, and Disney's ruining all the classics, and Disney doesn't care about their audience anymore, and Disney's moved away from creative storytelling, and there's a lot of backlash, and there's a lot of strong emotions. And I didn't realize I stepped in that political landmine when I made that comment in a video about Snow White, but then people came in comments. Just keep in mind, just to let you guys know, I don't work for Disney. I didn't have anything to do with the film Snow White. So you can attack me if you want about Snow White, but I mean, if I was at Disney, is you need to have a master class in PR with Rachel to teach her how not to be, you want to not be disparaging against old movies, but just saying you're going to be enhancing new movies. I mean, that's just kind of basic 101, like talking about this, like, we're making it even better, not disparaging against it and not being so polarizing for people, because she's Snow White, the original princess of Disney. She's carrying a large mantle. So we're going to see what's going to happen. But this film does not feel like it's going to be successful. The fact that they released the trailer as a hidden trailer, the fact that when they did release the teaser trailer 3 months ago, it got over. These are all telltale signs to me that Disney does not have a lot of confidence in this particular film. And I mean, it was being filmed in 2022, and they're getting ready to release it in 2025 in March of all places. And if they really were confident, they'd be releasing in the summertime, but I don't think they're as much confident. I want to know what you guys think about this. Are you going to see the Snow White movie? And this is interesting for me to hear, and just be honest. I mean, let's be kind. Let's be kind in the comments down below. Are you planning on seeing this movie? If you're parents, did you planning on taking your children to this movie? Are you not topic? And holy cow, people they have very strong opinions on this particular film. And so I've kind of given you a little history of what the hubbub is. Subscribe button. You guys are amazing. And I'll have some more videos coming out. And yeah, you guys are the best. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye. Oh, I forgot to almost mention this. You guys, for Black Friday, all of our merchandise, Park Pass merchandise is going to be 25% store-wide. Everything down below, everything, stickers, pins, shirts. You can buy them 25% off. Yay! It's great gifts coming up for Black Friday. That'll be happening here. And also, Disney can get a third day free. 30-day free if you have a Disney Plus subscription. What you have to do is you have to call 1-855-GETAWAY. When they answer the phone, tell them Park Pass sent you, and give them the email that you have for your Disney Plus subscription. When you buy a 2-day ticket, you'll get a 3-day ticket for free. Yeah, there you go. Anyways, okay, guys. Oh, by the way, I hope you guys have an amazing, happy Thanksgiving, and I want you to know that I'm thankful for you. I think you're amazing, and I hope that you are surrounded by loved ones at this time. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.